Okay. Okay, Lynn is here. Wait, Lynn. Okay. Today is our first day of the backend module. Let's forget about algorithm for now and jump straight into Node.js. So here's the logo of Node.js. You see it a lot when you Google stuff. Okay. And these are the three main things that we need to know today. Like at the end of the day, you need to understand the difference between front end and back end, right? And some basic Node.js syntax or how to run a Node app, for something like that. And here's just something bonus that what you can do with Node.js, what you cannot do. Okay, clear? Okay. So here's a it's blocking everything. Go away. Go up. Okay, here's some pictures explaining front end and back end. As you can see, on the front end side, we only use JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. On the back end side, we can use any languages that support for the back end, for the web application server. Okay, it can be any language. And here's some, I like this picture. Normally, it's gonna be a very beautiful front end, beautiful UI, but on the back end side, it's shit. There's a bunch of error bugs, but I like the picture because it's a disaster on the front end side, but the back end, you see, it's so beautiful. So depends. I like this. So they are totally different, front end and back end. Yeah. So here's some detail about the differences between front end and back end. On front end, we focus a lot on, we mainly focus on how things looks, on how things behave on the browser. Okay. And to do that, we use images, we use content, we use HTML tag, or we can use, for example, on mobile, we can use some kind of like similar to DOM, HTML DOM, but it's a different thing. But basically, we also use something similar to that. And for the structure here is basically the structure of the routes. For example, if you go to codeschool.vn/jobs, you see content, the job contains the content about jobs, right? So this is a structure on the front end. And to do all of those, we need to understand, or we need to know how to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Only those three, right? No more. And for JavaScript, we actually use a couple of frameworks. For example, React, Vue.js, Angular, maybe something more. But yeah, those are the top three, the top frameworks for JavaScript running. And on the backend side, we mainly focus on how things work. Like if you want to upload an image or if you want to post an item to your website, you need to focus on the logic behind that. You need to be able to, you need to be logged in order to post something, right? For example, Facebook, you need to be logged in. And when you post something, for example, a picture, that picture needs to be valid, right? And you need to store that picture somewhere, for example. And those are called data. And to help you build the backend side, backend application or backend web server, you can use either JavaScript, Ruby, Python, PHP, Java, Golang, Rust, or something. Any language that support building the backend web server. Also for data, you need to know the language, database language, for example, SQL or NoSQL. SQL means structured query language, and NoSQL means not only structured query language, like there's no structure at all. It's just objects, JavaScript objects. It's not JavaScript, it's JSON objects, yeah. So basically you have two main languages for database. And in this course, we will learn NoSQL, okay? Because it's a stack that React go together with Node.js and MongoDB. It's a very common, popular stack. Okay, and for backends, of course, we will use JavaScript and Node.js. Yeah. Okay, now you may wonder why we chose JavaScript to teach you the backend side. We usually taught Python and Ruby, like in the previous bootcamps, but we decided to change to JavaScript last bootcamp because using the same language, you have more time to master JavaScript. Like you master the language that you learn from the second week, right? JavaScript. Okay. Instead of, so you can have more time to focus on the concept of the backend side rather than learning new syntax for the new language. Right? It takes like half a month, a whole month for new people, for beginner to learn a new language. So instead of wasting the time on learning that, we want you to focus on the concepts of the backend so you can go to work after you graduate. Learning a new language is simple. It takes like 1 month, but the concept is very important because the concept is kind of like it's almost the same in different framework or different languages. So you need to understand the backend concept here. That's the more important thing in the backend module. And if you compare JavaScript to Ruby or Python, JavaScript is fast. It's popular, it's fast. And there's a nature, a very unique nature, non-blocking nature, asynchronous, for example, here, meaning you can call multiple, you can do multiple things at the same time. It's very easy to do so by using asynchronous await. Comparing to Python or Ruby, it's very hard to control that. And PayPal actually moved from Java to JavaScript a couple of years ago, just to prove that JavaScript is powerful. And also, last but not least, demand for NodeJS is higher than Python, for example, in Vietnam, especially in Vietnam. And when we post available candidates on our website, actually, they are like, for example, the candidates that know this skill, the NodeJS skill, there are more lawyers who are interested in those candidates. So based on those statistics, we decided to change it to JavaScript and NodeJS. Okay. There are a couple of reasons. And also from the reverse bootcamps, people really complain, why should I learn two languages in such a short time? Like in 3 months, I need to know HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and Python. Okay. People complain a lot, and we decided to change. But there's a cons here, right? Learning two languages really help you a lot when you want to learn the third one. So it helps you a lot. But now we only know one language, JavaScript, so it may take more time later on, like in the future, if you want to learn another language. So there are pros and cons for everything. And there's actually some alternatives or variants of JavaScript out there. It's not really alternative. So here, just more like a framework that we check the type on the go. When you save it and run the application, it will check all the types for you. The variable type, for example, object, string, numbers, so validate those types and we return errors right away. If there's a mismatch in that, you may not know that yet, but don't worry about flow. TypeScript is actually an alternative for JavaScript. Basically, when you define a variable, when you define a function and pass in arguments or return a value in a function, right? You have to define the type that you want to pass, that you want to define, that you want to return. So it's all about type. That's why you see TypeScript. Basically, it's JavaScript with type. And you don't need to know those. Just saying. Okay. And TypeScript actually can be used in React, Vue, and Angular, and also in Node.js and any other frameworks that support JavaScript. So your next level will be TypeScript. It's from Microsoft. Microsoft actually bought it. So enough of that. Enough about the language. Let's talk about Node.js. What is this? Just JavaScript, but it's kind of like a runtime that built in Google in Chrome V8 engines. Basically, something that Google built for us that allow us to run JavaScript code outside of the browser. It means we can run that. We can run Node.js script on the server, on Windows, on macOS, on Linux, or Ubuntu, anywhere. Okay, it means cross environment runtime for JavaScript. Okay, here, basically, if I say basically JavaScript was created just to run on the browser, no more on the browser. And then some guy, I don't know, I mean, maybe he's Israel's Indian. He create a runtime for JavaScript, Node.js here, that allow JavaScript to run on the server. And that's how we have the JavaScript that run on the backend side. Okay. So here's explanation between in-browser and server-side JavaScript. Like I said before, JavaScript was originally created to run on the browser only. And it will handle all the tasks that related to web page manipulation. For example, you have something called document object, right? In your JavaScript, document get element by ID, document get element by class name or something like that. Document is a browser object. Okay, so that means it's only run on the browser. It's only available on the browser. If you go to Node.js and you call document, there's no such thing. It's not a web browser, so that means there's no document. Okay, and it allows you to interact with the user and the web server. For example, you can use fetch. You want to call an API, you can use fetch on the browser, on JavaScript in the browser, but you cannot do that in Node.js. You have to use another built-in method. So those things are the difference between the browser JavaScript and the server JavaScript. Also, there's a lot of restrictions to protect the user. For example, you want to get the user location, the browser location, you have to ask permission. Then we will pop up here, ask, do you want to allow this application to collect your location? Something like that. Or you want to save a file, the browser cannot do that. It doesn't allow you to save any file to your computer unless you allow it. Okay. So that's the in-browser JavaScript. So now move on to the server JavaScript. There's a big difference. You can actually write and read the files directly to your hard disk, hard drive. You can copy or execute any programs. This is hard to explain for people who has no computer science background, but like basically JavaScript is built on top of C and C++. That means you cannot really have access to kind of like primitive types. So it's very hard to explain this. For example, a number in JavaScript is actually an object. That's why you have a bunch of, for example, string is an object. You have string dot to uppercase, to lowercase, right? So those are objects. Those are methods of the object. But in the low-level language, string is just a primitive type. It's different from JavaScript. You don't need to know that yet, though. You don't need to know those, but just in the introductions. And so on the server JavaScript, you can make requests without worrying about the cost. For example, in Alisa, what was it? Google News, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she ran into a problem because as of May, Google News API doesn't allow you to call the API directly from the browser. Okay, so that's I have her with a Node.js backend that allow her to call the API through a proxy. So that means I allow her to call the API through my server, through my Node.js server. That's how she can call the API by adding just another host like this, cause and this, and then she slash for someone any API she wants. Something, right? So basically, it should run through a proxy, and that proxy is my own server, my own Node.js server, to navigate the cause problems. So those are the difference between browser and server. And you will learn more along the way. You'll figure out more differences between browser and server along the way. For example, in the server JavaScript, there's no window object. You cannot call window. It will throw you an error undefined. But on a browser, you can just call window is a local variable. You can call window.location.href something, and you can navigate to another URL, another page. So that's a big difference between those two. I may have I may be going too fast, but don't worry, we will go over everything again after this. So now we learn Node.js. We need to know what is NVM. We use it a lot, but we don't actually know what it is. Right? That's a common problem. Because it's a bootcamp, we learn everything by doing. We don't learn all the theory in a very short time. So we skip a lot of things. But we will go back and learn more step by step, like little by little. So now you need to know NPM, what it is. Basically, it's just a package manager. It helps you to install JavaScript libraries, and that's it. It helps you install JavaScript library. That's it. That's it. You can install React app using NPM, init React app, or NDX. NDX is just a different variant of NPM. Or Yarn, or there's a couple more different other package managers, but NPM is the most popular one. And here's a fun fact: it was bought by Microsoft 2 months ago. It's not 2 weeks. 2 weeks is the time that I wrote this, but it's two months ago. Microsoft actually bought GitHub, and basically most of the JavaScript was hosted on GitHub. So now you may see a lot of applications that run on Windows is built on JavaScript. Okay, for example, Slack actually built on Electron. Which is another framework of JavaScript, Node.js. And also Discord, yeah, Skype, I think. So there will be a bunch of different apps that run that build on JavaScript. So module, we will use module a lot. When talking about module, we actually talk about 3 different types of modules. The core modules, which we just import it and use it right away. We don't need to install anything. They are already built in Node.js. There are also a different module called community modules, which means you have to go to npm.js.com, find that module, copy the command, for example, npm install React app, for example, npm install moment, if you already use it, npm install bootstrap. Those kind of things are called community modules. Like someone make it, public it, and then you have to install it and use it. You also have a different kind of modules, which is the module, the library, the code that you create yourself, and you store it inside your code, and then just import it and use it. So these are the main 3 different modules. Though there's a bunch of theory, but just use it. To me, I don't actually like when you code, you need to understand where's the library coming from. Sometimes, like for example, there's a request. No, it's too soon to say about those things. But yeah, just understand there are 3 kind of modules. Okay. And today we will learn how to use a core module, how to install and use a community modules. Maybe you also create your own module if you want, but basically, and here's a couple of things that Node.js can do. Actually, it can do a lot of things, right? A lot of things. You can create or you can build a NPM tool, the tool that very similar to NPM, right? Basically, NPM is just JavaScript. You can also build a tool that check your syntax in your VS Code. For example, ESLint actually built with JavaScript. I'm going to show ESLint. Hello, Elisa. Don't sleep. Yeah, you can build a lot of tools, but these are very advanced. It takes a lot of time to learn how to do it. And you can create backend web application. Yes, this is what we're gonna do in the whole module here. And we can also build command line tools like Rimgraph. Rimgraph is basically it's just a tool that allow you to delete files on different platforms. For example, on Windows, you use different command line to delete stuff. On Mac OS, you use different command line to delete. On Linux, same thing. But this tool, you will check your platform, it will use the appropriate command line to delete stuff. So that's why you can see 34 million downloads per week. Yeah, because it's used in every single library that we use. It's very popular, and we don't know those. Yeah, it's very popular. We don't know it because actually it's used inside every library that we use. For example, React, Bootstrap, or something like that. We don't know it, but actually it's used a lot. We use it a lot. Also, we can build desktop application using NodeJS, but not on Express. We use a different framework, for example, Electrons. Here we go. Using Electron, you can build a lot of desktop apps. There's a bunch of apps, so shit, there's a lot, right? After you learn Node.js, if you're interested in building desktop app, you can learn Electrons, which is a framework just like Express. Okay, and where are we? Right. So those things that Node.js can do. Node.js cannot restart your computer. Node.js cannot run cannot like do a virus check. It cannot do those kind of low level stuff. Low level is mean like if let's require user permission, right? And here are a couple of projects that we're gonna build in this module. We have to-do app which we will build today, right? We also have a weather app. This app to practice to train you how to call APIs and handle request response on server side, on the server, not on the browser, on the server only. You can search city here. Okay, what else? You can create a meme app like this. I showed you yesterday, right? You can upload file. You can choose a picture, for example, maybe Bitna. Wow. Right, I'm gonna save it. So see here, I think, oh, here we go. And you can share this picture to everyone. We also learn how to build a fully functional API server, just like the backend for GitHub, for example. That's too much, but we're gonna do something like that. And we have planned. Earlier, we actually built a tab like a tours app, which allow you to book, post new tours, and allow you to book tour and filter the information, filter tour with conditions. But my CEO, my technical lead, want to change to something else. Like he wanted to make it look like Airbnb. So I had to rewrite a lot of stuff so that to make the project looks more like fun, like real. So we are gonna do something like this. Airbnb.com maybe. And we saw that there's a new feature on Airbnb, and we're gonna do this, right? It's online experience, yay! So we're gonna build something similar to this. It's still in work. It's still work in progress. So yeah, let's see. We're gonna build something that this a lot of things. There's a lot of things here going on behind the scene. When you look at the front end here, well, if you have never done the back end, you will say, that looks okay, nothing new, nothing so special. But when you actually code it, like there are a shit ton of things going on behind, right? These data are dynamic, which means the user can change it anytime. There's no fix here. maybe only the UI is fixed. All the data here, pictures here, the status online here, the icon here, everything is dynamic, right? It's dynamic. So we need to learn how to structure those and how to return those data to the front end. So front end will understand and render it. Front end will be very stupid. Its purpose is just render stuff, okay? Render stuff. For example, if one starting in the next 6 hours, how the hell the front end know in 6 hours these things will happen, right? It's very hard. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Don't worry, we will learn everything step by step. And we're gonna do that by building this very simple app first, a to-do app using command line tool. Command line, like, what do I mean by that? Meaning you open your terminal, you take something like add have dinner. That's it. In your database, you will have something called to do have dinner status not done or false, something like that. You will have to create more. You will have to expand it more, add more feature into it. But I will walk you through very basic stuff. Don't look at those. You don't understand those. Don't look at those. So basically, yes, that's it. If you look at the GIF here, basically you will have to do something like this, right? You add a new to do, for example here, watch some movie tonight. Hit enter, and then when you list it, you see watch some movie tonight, something like this. This is old but go, because by practice doing this, you know you practice a lot of like process thinking, your thinking process. You know, to add this feature, you have to do something. You have to think. I'll walk you through the basic syntax, and there are a couple optional features you can do. You can rate yourself. You can also build a currency converter that runs purely on terminal, right? For example, you call an API from somewhere to get the exchange rate, and then you enter the amount that you want to exchange, and then hit enter, you see the results. So you can build that tool after today. All right, let's go back here. Do you have any question though? Yeah, normally people will have no question about this because it's totally new to them. You don't know what to ask, like, what the hell is this? So basically you need to understand this, like I said before, difference between front end and back end. Some basic NodeJS syntax. To know this, you have to actually code to know this. And what you can do with NodeJS, actually you can build apps with NodeJS. It can be desktop app, it can be web app, it can be a command line apps. So you can do app with Node.js. And here's the most important thing: front end versus back end. Front end, we focus on how things looks. For example, on Airbnb here, everything we see here, the structure, for example, the navbar on the top is the UI. There will be logo or image on the hero image, maybe, yeah. So this is the front end. We will have a bunch of categories here. The layout here is also front end, but the content is actually from the backend side, right? The picture, the frame here, the frame of the picture is front end, right? The content, the title, the country, the rating, the price, the description here is front end, but the data, the content is from the backend side, right? So to build a front end, you only need to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? But to build the back end, you need to understand the database language first. Like I said yesterday, database is kind of like your heart, and the logic is your brain. Okay. Without the database, you cannot do anything. right? Really, you can show anything because you can store anything. So app will not work. Basically, it will work, but there will be no data. You may have to get the data from somewhere. Okay, and without any logic, like it's kind of like a dead app. And the logic can be built by using any languages. It could be JavaScript, it could be Ruby, it could be Python, PHP, Java, right? But in this call, we only use JavaScript to build the backend. And the database, we will learn NoSQL. To be more precise, we will learn MongoDB. Okay. Oh yeah, and these are just additional stuff to explain why we need JavaScript. Okay. So that's it. Do you have any questions? Too much? Oh, I need to check chat from this. What is too much? Okay, yeah, it's kind of like TypeScript. Actually, for people who familiar with working with like type language like C++, Java, Golang, or any kind of those kind of language, they want to have those kind of security or the safety of type, and they invent something called TypeScript. Okay, to Anh Huy, yeah. And what the hell is too much here? I don't know. Yes, yes, we learn by doing. Actually, I love Golang, but it takes more time to learn comparing to JavaScript and TypeScript. It's a language created by Google to use for Google. Yeah, so Golang, the icons like here, it's a golfer, right? It's a golfer. I love this. It's more like Java and Python together. Okay, we have to actually do it to understand the syntax. Smith, right? So I will walk you through the couple of milestone here to milestone 5. Okay. And then you will have to implement more features on your own. You can be creative, right? You can build another app, for example, a currency converter that run on terminal. Maybe you have to fetch API from somewhere, for example, se.com, and then you convert the currency. That's it. It's very fun. Yes. Oh, we run it on terminal, but we build it. You can open your VS Code to build it, or you can open a Notepad on Windows, or you can open like a Vim editor, like for example, Nano, .js. You can build like here. It's okay. But I'm not going to do that though. It's very hard. Okay, so let's take a couple of minutes break before we actually start the lab. Like 5-minute break, guys, and then I will walk you through the first 2 milestones, and then we take break. Okay, 5-minute break. Stop.